Hello, and thanks for joining this webinar, Best Practices for a Successful Migration from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams. Today we'll discuss the current roadmap for moving from Skype to Teams, talk about some of the common challenges related to the migration, as well as some tips on governance. Finally, we'll look at best practices to ensure successful adoption and utilization for your organization. Let's get started. As most of you know by now, Microsoft announced that Skype for Business is being sunset and has already begun helping customers migrate to Microsoft Teams. While existing Office 365 customers can still leverage Skype as part of their subscription, as of October 2018, new customers are now using Teams as their default communication and collaboration tool. The transition from Skype to Teams is meant to bring all the functionality users are used to in Skype over to Microsoft Teams, all while introducing new ways to collaborate and work more effectively. As you can see here, most of Skype's feature set has already made its way over to Teams, but there's still some more to come. Currently, you can run Skype side by side with Teams and explore the benefits Teams has to offer. There are many ways to do this, and you'll see a few illustrated here. This is a great way to get early adopters in your organization excited and serve as champions for the pending rollout, while not disrupting the productivity of employees still used to Skype. So, if you're currently using Skype for Business, two questions are probably at the top of your mind. When should I migrate to Teams, and what will that mean for my users? To answer both questions, let's start by looking at what Teams is and how it fits within the Microsoft collaboration toolset. When you look at Office 365 today, Microsoft is using Teams as its hub for collaboration. Think of it as a central place for workloads to connect to other applications in the Office 365 ecosystem. While the typical digital workplace can be fragmented between different communication and Office applications, Teams has now become the hub through which users interact with their colleagues and the core Office applications. Teams acts as a hub for teamwork where groups that actively engage and are working on core projects can connect and collaborate. For example, Yammer is for people to connect across their company, sharing ideas on common topics of interest. Using Outlook, Teams can communicate in a familiar place and can easily create distribution lists with groups. SharePoint keeps content at the center of teamwork, making files, sites, and all types of content easily shareable and accessible across teams. Finally, OneDrive for Business allows for co-authoring on familiar apps like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. With these tools coming together, Teams offers a holistic solution for employees to collaborate and communicate. You're probably asking, with so many applications in a central hub, how do you go about determining what will work for each part of your organization? How will each work group utilize Teams in a way that works for them and for my business? That answer comes from governance. So what is governance? Simply put, it's how you share, decide, inform, and investigate the usage of an application within your business. IT governance involves how the application will be deployed and the technical support for issues business users may encounter. Strategic governance is how you build the software into your organization's workflow and how you align it with current business objectives and strategies. Finally, you define how your users will interact with the new technology with use case governance. This is the user experience, how they will use the software, best practices, and rule sets to ensure maximum return on the software's intended benefits. Let's look at each of these in a bit more detail. Gartner defines IT governance as a process by which organizations ensure the effective evaluation, selection, prioritization, and funding of competing IT investments, oversee their implementation, and extract measurable business benefits. Simply put, this is a business investment, decision-making, and oversight process, and it is a business management responsibility. Here, you are answering questions for your organization rather than the users. How are we going to use this? When do users get access? What users get access? Additionally, and importantly, IT governance deals with the security of information as well. Your strategic business governance deals with how users throughout your organization will be using new technology. This is outlining strategies to get your employees up to speed and informed about the new technology and trained to use it. We'll talk a little more about business governance when we dive into change management later in the webinar. If IT governance is how an organization implements new technology, and strategic governance is how employees at a high level will be using the new technology, you can view use case governance as how the individual will be using the technology. This is how you define new ways of working for specific workloads, how you communicate new standards, and rules for working and training them up on the new technology to meet adoption goals. Put simply, governance allows for efficient knowledge sharing and agility for businesses, and proactively allows them to be in tune with the requirements in terms of compliance and legal demands, protects against growing threats and data leaks, and is a critical component to consider. We've reviewed the big picture of the Skype to Teams transition, and we've looked at important ways for you to govern the rollout and usage of Teams. But how do you get your employees to use the application efficiently? It starts with change management. The business of digital change is just as confounding as it was more than a decade ago. Among the top reasons cited for digital transformation failure is resistance to change, 51% according to decision makers, and lack of focus on the impact the technology change will have on the business user. Organizations can develop the smartest strategies and implement the latest technology, but neither will matter unless each individual within your business goes through the desired change you are looking to implement. Add in new demands for mobility and changes to the way people are expected to work, and you're left struggling to gain benefits from your digital adoption initiatives, leading to 75% of projects failing to deliver intended business benefits. The question then becomes why? There are several factors: ineffective change management, lack of sponsorship, and traditional one-dimensional learning approaches. In order to effectively manage change, you need to keep your focus on the people to be better equipped for success in digital business. Finally, let's look at some of the recommended steps to ensure a successful adoption program for teams. First, identify key stakeholders and user audiences. Who is going to be using the application? Who is going to drive usage? Next, define your desired business outcomes. Ask yourself, why are you implementing Teams? What do you hope to gain out of it? Next, launch your adoption campaign. This can be in the form of a pilot with a small set of users, or, as we outlined previously, you can run Skype and Teams side by side to minimize disruption and begin to identify early adopters. Those early adopters can become part of your champion program. These are users and key stakeholders who advocate for the new technology and drive governance standards. Now you need to establish methods to evaluate how the change is coming along. First, provide a standardized, easy-to-access feedback method. Using the KPIs you've collected earlier, measure and share early successes. Then, determine where knowledge or training gaps are based on feedback and data collected, and adjust your messaging and methods. Continue to repeat this process until your business objectives are met. The change from Skype to Teams is coming, and your success will be measured by how well your organization manages that change. For more information on how to prepare for the Skype to Teams transition, please visit our website to request a briefing. Thank you for listening.